Dustin Poirier is taking on Islam Makhachev, the #1 pound-for-pound best UFC fighter in the world, this Saturday. And this is his last chance at becoming the undisputed lightweight champion of the world. And he's in a very, very challenging fight, arguably the hardest fight of his career. And he is the underdog. And the question of the day is, can Dustin Poirier finish his story and become the lightweight champion? In this video, I'm going to talk about the keys to victory for Dustin "Diamond" Poirier to finally become the undisputed lightweight champion of the world. The first key to victory for Dustin Poirier is to use the jab. Dustin and Islam are both southpaws, so they're in the same stance. It's a close stance fight, and that means the jab is opened up because you don't have the traffic of, having an orthodox opponent's left hand in the way of your right hand. Now it's just safe. You can throw your jab, and Dustin Poirier has a 2-inch reach advantage over Islam Makhachev, and the jab is a very safe weapon. You don't really have to overextend too much. You don't have to commit too much. It's just a rangefinder to land and set up those bigger shots later on. The next key to victory for Dustin Poirier is to use calf kicks. Once again, Islam is a southpaw, so that kick is open, and Dustin did a great job of using this against a fellow southpaw, Conor McGregor, and he was having a lot of success with it. And the thing in this fight versus Islam, he should definitely use this, but he's got to set it up properly because Islam is a grappler and he's going to be looking to catch those calf kicks and take him down. But the next key to victory for Dustin Poirier is to use body shots. Islam Makhachev, he's a very defensively sound fighter. Whenever someone closes the distance on him, he'll move away, and sometimes he'll pull his head back. And those body shots are open because you can't move your body the same way you move your head. So start with the body shots. And also, Alexander Volkanovski, he will change into the southpaw stance and land that right hook to the body whenever they're in close. So if you're a Dustin Poirier, a natural southpaw, take advantage of it and throw those body shots. The next key to victory for Dustin is to use the ninja choke instead of the guillotine choke. Now, Dustin, he's for a fact gonna jump for the guillotine, so there's no point in saying don't jump for it, but because he's probably gonna do it. But instead, I think he should use a ninja choke, and what that basically is, a headlock choke, but with the rear naked choke grip instead of the regular guillotine grip. And what that does is, while you're standing, your opponent has to kind of spin out of it. They won't, you don't have to jump to the ground to, have a better chance of finishing it. Of course, you can finish a guillotine standing up, but this choke, if you remain standing, your opponent, the way they have to defend it is spin out of it, and that causes them to, lose the grappling position. They have to disengage from the grappling exchange. So you'll just have a reset even if he defends it. So you have a chance of finishing him, but the way he defends it is he has to get spin out of it explosively. So he can use it whenever Islam goes for his double leg takedowns or his single leg takedowns, and yeah, I think it's gonna be more effective than the guillotine. But whenever he goes for the guillotine, do not drop to your guard because Islam's gonna be ready for it. He's gonna be escaping it, and then he's gonna get a good position, and you'll be stuck on bottom, and you don't want that. Next key to victory for Dustin is to use pressure. You gotta take the fight to Islam, and Alexander Volkanovski was having success in the later rounds when he was really pressuring Islam because Islam likes to move away, stay at kicking range, and he's also a grappler, so you don't want the grappler and a heavy kicker to be pressuring you because you're giving him a lot of space for his kicks. And he can also grapple more effectively. So push him back, make his takedowns a bit more predictable, take away his kicking game, and force him into a boxing match. The next key to victory for Dustin Poirier is to use feints. Islam Makhachev is a counter striker, so you're going to be putting pressure on him, and you want to draw his counters out so then you can attack him. You want to start those exchanges because we've seen Islam, this is going to lead into my next key to victory, but we've seen Islam overextend at times, and whenever he gets pressured a bit too much, he'll feel the need to overextend and throw some heavy shots. So use feints to draw him out and set up your offense. The next key to victory is intercepting counters. So what that means is basically throwing a shot while your opponent is attacking you and countering them at the same time as when they're throwing. This is how Islam got knocked out for the first time in his career, but I feel he also did this against Oliveira, but Charles didn't really capitalize on this. And Dustin has shown an ability to counter his opponents. He catches his shots and then he throws his counter hook. So that's why you got to use your feints to draw him out and then counter him when he opens up. The next key to victory for Dustin Poirier is, I haven't seen a name for this, but I'm just going to call it the pull down cross. And now a lot of fighters, including Islam Makhachev, like to throw like a little check hook, like whenever someone comes into their range and tries to attack them. And Conor McGregor actually used this against Dustin Poirier, and it caught him clean on the chin. Nate Diaz also used this against Leon Edwards. And basically, you know, when you notice that your opponent likes to throw that check hook, you're gonna like pull that backhand down, pull their left hand down, and then blast them for cross, because there was a huge opening, because they're, you know, throwing that white hook, that check hook pretty wide. And it hits him clean on the chin most of the time. And Islam, you know, he's pretty defensively sound, but when you get hit that cleanly on the chin by a guy like Poirier, you could potentially get knocked out. The next key to victory for Dustin Poirier is don't knee in the clinch. Whenever Islam is in the clinch, he likes to trip his opponents or throw them on the ground like judo throws. And one thing that he does to kind of bait his opponents is like he'll knee them, and then his opponents will knee him back. But as soon as they put their leg down, he'll try to trip them or like judo throw them. So Dustin has to be careful not fall into this bait and just like try to get out the clinch, use your underhooks, and just like fight the hands, break his like grip, and just get out of there. Don't, you know, engage in this battle with Islam in the clinch. The next key to victory for Dustin Poirier to win this fight is to not let Islam settle on the ground. Islam is very strong. He's got a good ground game. So you don't want to, you know, as soon as he takes you down, you don't want to, you know, stay there and stay patient. You want to explode. You want to move. You want to keep that scramble going. You don't want to just settle there and let Islam just work, because he's going to win rounds. He's going to wear on you, hit you with some ground and pound, and look for submissions, and he's dangerous down there. The next key to victory for Dustin Poirier is to always regain your full guard. It's a great defensive position to be in, and you have a lot of offense there, while your opponent doesn't really have that much, and you can get up from there a lot easier than some of the other positions. Lastly, the last key to victory I have is to always look for your underhooks. Against Khabib, there was a lot of times where Dustin didn't get his underhooks, and he was just getting thrown out there. And you don't want to repeat of that, right? You don't want to get ragdolled again. So always look for those underhooks in the clinch positions, you know, on the ground, in the clinch. Like every time, look for those underhooks. And that's all I've got for Dustin Poirier's keys to victory to beating Islam Makhachev. Hopefully he can get it done. And if you're interested in my predictions for this fight, make sure you tune in this Friday.